In this video, I will be telling you my top 5 most used football trading strategies for the match odds market on Betfair. I get many people asking me this question. Now it's time for answers, and this will allow you to get a good insight into what the best football trading strategies actually are. Make sure you got no distractions. Go grab a nice cold beer or some popcorn and let's get into it. So something slightly different for the Sports Trading Life channel, and this should be an interesting one because we're going to run through my own personal top 5 most used football trading strategies on the match odds market. Now keep in mind, this is just from my own personal use. I'm not necessarily saying any strategy is better than another strategy, since everyone is different, before a lot of people go crazy in the comments about that. And also keep in mind, I'm not going to be giving away the full step-by-steps of the strategy, since these are reserved exclusively for the members of my course. But I do have tons of real-life demonstrations so you can see the strategies demonstrated before your own very eyes and on the Betfair interface. But without further ado, let's just check out the top 5 match odds strategies and dive right into it. Be sure to keep watching to the end, as I also tell you how the Sports Trading Life subscribers voted and how that compared to my own top 5, which was also pretty interesting. So let's check out number 5. But before we do, if you haven't done it already, I would really like it if you could smash the like button to support the channel. All these videos, they take a lot of time and research in order to give them to you for free. All we want in return is a quick press of the like button. You might want to hit the subscribe button as well and the notification bell so YouTube knows to send you these videos again in future, because otherwise they probably won't. So anyway, hit the like button. Now let's check out number 5. And strategy number 5 is the strategy of backing the winning team. So as mentioned, out of all the strategies we're going to look at today, we're going to look at the ones which I use the most. And this is probably the strategy I use the most sparingly, and only when a situation really suits. Now, long-time viewers to the channel will remember we covered this in good detail previously in a previous video, but this strategy generally involves backing a winning team that is already a goal ahead, but still has pretty favorable odds. So most of the time when a team is a goal ahead, their odds are pretty low and it's not really worth backing them. But there can be situations where a team is winning and also dominating and looking likely to double that lead. Yet there's a lot of ticks that can be easily gained just as long as they keep winning. The downside of the strategy is a goal against you can be quite damaging, which means you have to definitely use match reading if you're going to be using the back the winning team strategy. And you probably want to be a bit more of an experienced football trader to attempt it. This is probably not a great strategy for beginners. But either way, let's check out some real life examples of the back the winning team strategy so you can see it in action for yourself. So here's a match from the German Bundesliga: Bayer Leverkusen 0, Wolfsburg 1. So Wolfsburg were the underdog before the match. They've taken the lead, and you can see their price is still pretty generous because obviously they were underdogs before the match. However, we can see that, you know what, Wolfsburg pretty comfortable and looking like the better team. So this looks like one of those rare moments where the markets have just got this wrong, and so we can jump on in play and do a back to lay, or taking advantage of the time value or the time decay, whichever you want to call it, knowing that if we back Wolfsburg here 1.51, now if it remains 1-0 to them, then the price is going to tick down no matter what. If they score again, which they're looking very likely to do, then it's going to tick down again. Okay, so we've got a few things on our side, which is why it is a trade I like. However, these are pretty rare opportunities. It's not often you get an underdog who would take the lead and then be the better team. Usually all the pressure starts to come from the home team. But anyway, as you can see, we backed Wolfsburg here at 1.51, and the idea is that as long as they're dominant, we're going to leave the money on them. Okay, and no matter what, this price is going to keep moving in our favor. So let's see what happens next. So 82 minutes on the clock here, Leverkusen 0, Wolfsburg 1, and it's probably time to now exit out the market as the match is starting to turn. From what I can see, Leverkusen are, as you would expect, really trying to push for that equaliser, and Wolfsburg trying to just sit on their lead and defend it now heading into this final 10 minutes. So we removed the risk from the market, and now we're in that decision time of, do we let it run for the free bet, £26.55, or do we just cash it out and lock in that profit? To keep things simple, and it is YouTube, we're just going to cash it out, lock in our profit, and then move on. Okay, so as it developed there, we backed at 1.51, we were out at 1.24, and it is a case of, in these situations, trying to pay close attention to the match and try and stick with it as long as that winning team is pretty dominant. Okay, as soon as the match turns, well, there's your kind of indication to at least remove the risk from the trade and see what happens there, because obviously we don't want to get caught out by the equalizer. That is our worst case scenario. But in this case, nothing happened. It stayed 1-0, but we managed to make that profit there of £21.45. So just a quick example, back in that winning team, taking advantage of time value. So half time in this one, Malaga against Ponferradina from the Spanish Segunda. So this looks like a pretty good opportunity, because the away team, they're leading 1-0. They took the lead around the 16th minute, and their price is still pretty generous. There's still some ticks for us to win, and that's what we kind of got to look for with this. So we're going to get involved. Let's back Ponferradina, and the initial plan is that we're going to see how the second half begins. Okay, and that's the great thing about football trading, is that you can be flexible. We can start the second half. If Malaga really turn it on and push, then maybe we can get out, but in the meantime the odds are going to be ticking in our favor, so we could even get out for a small profit. But the Spanish Segunda is probably a good league to get involved in with this sort of strategy, because there isn't that many goals in it. Okay, so we can just let this play out, and more than likely it's probably going to remain 1-0 to the away team for a long while anyway. So that should be enough time for us to make the profit that we're looking for. But all depends on how the first 15 minutes of the second half go. Lots of pressure for Malaga. Maybe the price won't move so quick, so we've got to be ready for that one as well. Anyway, they're just about to kick off, as you can see. Let's see what happens in the second half. So we're about 68 minutes into this one, and this is Malaga against Ponferradina. And as you can see, I'm on sofascore.com. I'm just looking at the attack momentum graph, and as you can see in the second half, it hasn't really been too much pressure from either team. Nothing is really happening, so that's exactly why we're just staying in the market with this one so far. So remember, we backed Ponferradina 1.68. We're back in the winning team, and the price has been ticking down nicely ever since, as you should be able to see now. And we are currently in profit, and we're just ready to get out at any minute and maybe just cash it out and take the green. Just as soon as Malaga look like they're about to kind of turn it on, but it hasn't really been anything significant. It's been a pretty boring second half, but that's exactly what you want when we're doing this sort of strategy. So anyway, we're going to keep it going. We're going to let it keep rolling, and then as soon as we start to see anything develop from Malaga, then we close it out. But so far so good with this particular trade. Malaga 0, Ponferradina 1. 69 minutes on the clock. 77 minutes on the clock, and as I mentioned, I mean, you don't get that many goals in La Liga 2, so it was worth backing Ponferradina and trying to hang in there. They've kind of looked like they might double the lead themselves, which would have been a nice result for us, but it's starting to approach the business end of the match, so we can just close this out. I'm going to put in a lay here at 1.28, and let's get that matched, and let's just take our risk out of the market. And as you're going to see, that is probably going to give us around a £40 free bet on Ponferradina if we wanted to let it run. And here it is, just a case of, I mean, yeah, we could let it run. We've got no further risk in the market, then we would make a substantially bigger profit. I mean, around a 30% increase versus the cash out. But, you know, if we watched it and we just thought Malaga looked like they're going to squeeze that equalizer, then, of course, we can just cash out and take the profit. So anyway, just a quick example there. We backed Ponferradina at half-time, and these leagues are a good league to be backing winning teams when they are at generous odds, because there isn't that many goals, and it's pretty defensive, and so you could get a pretty stress-free trade, okay? So, yeah, we just made the profit on that one, and we're just going to lock it in across all the outcomes and step away for the final 10 minutes. Okay, let's take the money on this one. Okay, Malaga 0, Ponferradina 1, 78 minutes on the clock. So that should give you a much better idea of how to approach the back the winning team strategy. And before I forget, we do have a free copy of that exact strategy, the BWT formula, to give away. It is in the description of this video. You get the step-by-step and some tips on how to spot the very best matches to use it on, because as you've seen, it can work pretty well, but it has to be used on the correct matches. Okay, so download that is a free copy of that strategy. The link is in the description. We've got a few giveaways in this particular video, as you might have seen already. Just click on the description, look for the giveaway you're looking for, enter your email address, and we will send it right to you, or download them all. Okay, why not? They're all free. So that is the back the winning team formula. Definitely worth grabbing and then just giving a quick go in the markets to see if it's for you. But let's move on to number 4. Okay, number 4 of my top 5 most used football trading strategies on the match odds market, and that is laying the underdog. So I use this one sparingly. Okay, so I do use this along probably as much as I use the back the winning team strategy, mainly just because I've got better approaches to the market. But when you lay the underdog, it's usually a pretty simple strategy of there is an underdog, you lay them and you look for the favorite to take the lead in the match, and then you can cash out for a profit. And even if the favorite doesn't take the lead, the underdog usually will drift anyway, and you can look to lock in a profit that way as well. Of course, you can end up in sticky situations if that underdog takes the lead. That's why you always need a plan of action and a contingency plan to handle those sorts of situations. But generally, laying the underdog can be a pretty straightforward strategy, and I think let's just dive into it. Let's check out some real life examples of this so you can see exactly what I mean. So just to show you laying the underdog here, it is pretty simple. You can see that we have AGF against AAB, and AAB are the underdogs, so we lay the underdog, right? So what we're doing when we're laying the underdog is we're going to lay them, look for that favorite to take the lead, and then we're going to wait for that price to rise. Then we can lock in a profit. Even if the favorite doesn't take the lead, you'd expect the underdog's price to start to drift as well, as long as the favorite is playing well. So that's something to keep in mind too. Something to keep in mind when you are laying the underdog as well is the price to get involved at. We're getting involved here at 3.45, which is quite low for an underdog, but obviously the higher the price goes, the more risk. I mean, we've got £100 of profit potential here, £245 risk. The higher the price goes, the bigger the risk for the same profit potential, but then higher the strike rate. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind, and there are pros and cons with everything. So anyway, we're about 7 minutes into this one. We'll give you an update as things develop. And here we have had the goal to the home team, to the favorite. Let's just check out the goal in the replay. If you guys can see it, I don't know what YouTube are going to do, but it was a very, very nice goal. Very nice finish there from the striker. So if you just look at the odds, you can see they're kind of settling it. They're kind of finding where they should be. But remember, we entered this lay of the underdog here at 3.45. And it looks like the odds are going to rise to around 9. I'm sure we can get out once these odds fully settle, 9.4. So anyway, you've seen the price shoot up. I'll just show you here on the chart, and that's kind of the idea when you lay the underdog. You want to just keep it simple. There's obviously a lot of people who would kind of say, well, I mean, the underdog is losing. They need 2 goals to now lead again, so why not just remove the risk? That's also another option. In this video today, we are just trying to keep it as simple as possible, just giving you a quick demonstration of the strategy. So this is laying the underdog, okay? Very simple stuff, and that's why a lot of beginners do like it, okay? So laying the underdog here, 3.45. After the goal, we're at 9.4, and we've locked in £60 profit within the first 20 minutes. Not a bad trade at all. So that was number 4 on the list, laying the underdog, and you've got a good idea now of how that works. And the great thing about this video that you're watching is you're going to get a little glimpse of all the strategies, and you should have a very, very good idea of which strategy probably suits your own comfort level and which strategy you like the look of the most by the time we're done. Okay, so you saw laying the underdog, and you've probably got an idea of some of the pros and cons of it. Like I said, it can be a good straightforward beginner's strategy, but there are some cons to it, and in my view, there are better strategies out there than laying the underdog. But of course, everyone is different. Now, 2 down, 3 to go. Which strategy do you guys will be my personal number one? No cheating. Do leave a comment. Leave a comment right now. Obviously, there are a lot of long-term watchers of this channel who probably know which strategy is going to be my favorite, but who knows? Leave a comment and let me know. At the same time, also let us know which is your favorite way to trade the match odds market. It's always good to hear that. Do leave a comment below. But I think it's time to move on to number 3, and this is going to be an interesting one. So number 3 in the charts is the lay the draw strategy. Now, this is obviously the classic football trading strategy, lay in the draw. For anyone who's new, basically what we do is we are laying the draw. We're going to wait for a goal. After that goal is scored, it should theoretically make that draw price rise, and then we can lock in a profit. Now, on this channel, we're strong advocates of laying the draw in the second half. That usually gives you the biggest return and the biggest return on your risk and your money. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into some real life examples of exactly that. So definitely this looks like a sort of situation where we would probably want to use lay the draw though, because do we definitely have faith that Newcastle are going to be the team that takes the lead, or maybe it could be Burnley? By laying the draw, we're keeping both outcomes on side. Of course, that's one of the advantages of the strategy. But as I just mentioned, one of the best parts about getting involved in the second half is the fact that we can see how well Newcastle have played in the first half. They came very close to scoring, so it's a good value opportunity to get involved. So we've laid the draw here at much lower odds as well. Let me just show you. We've laid the draw here at 2.36, and if we were to lay the draw from the beginning, if the chart ever loads, we would have had to have laid it around 3.25, as you can just see there as I bring that into shot. So we've got a much lower price as well, which is obviously, as mentioned earlier, one of the big advantages of laying the draw in the second half. So we've seen that Newcastle played well in the first half. We're involved with lay the draw going into the second half in this one, and we're just looking for that goal. And the second half carried on pretty much the same way as the first half. And this time Newcastle have managed to take the lead. So we're just going to cash out on this trade here. The price on the draw has risen to 6. And it's a successful trade. Very successful there. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. And just shows the power of getting involved in the second half with lay the draw. Remember, we saw that Newcastle were pretty dominant in the first half. They looked like they were going to score. They didn't quite get there. And we had the opportunity to just get involved. And we've locked in a nice return of 60% of our stake. So not bad. Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. Successful lay the draw trade. And of course, as I've said, when you're using lay the draw in the second half, it does not have to be right at the early part of the second half. It could be like in this situation here, where suddenly the match comes to life with like 20 minutes left. I mean, there hasn't been much happening in this match at all, but it's just come to life in the last 5 minutes, and it looks like both teams are actually starting to go for this. So, you know, we've got our live stream there. We're just going to go in. We're going to lay the draw for £100, and the risk is very small compared to if we went in right at the start of the match. We're risking £60. If I bring up the chart here, then we can get an idea of where the price was at the start. It was a 3.75 lay. So we're getting quite a big discount on this. We've got 16 minutes left to get the goal we need. And at this point, it really doesn't matter who scores, because that draw price is going to rise dramatically. So Las Palmas 0, Malaga 0, and there is 16 minutes left. And there you have it. The goal came pretty much on the 90th minute, as you can see there. So, you know, there's just another quick example. Look, the match came to life very late on. Very, very late on. Our risk was only £60. So, you know, we're going to cash out a profit on this one. And it's just another example of how, you know, you don't have to go in at the start of the second half. You don't have to go in the 60th minute. You can just wait for the match to come alive in the late stages. and then you lay the draw. Remember, when you're laying the draw around the time when we entered, it really doesn't matter who gets the goal. In this case, it was the favourite, Las Palmas, but if it was Malaga, we would have locked in a similar profit. So we got the goal in this one. Nice and easy, late the draw there. Las Palmas 1, Malaga 0, heading into stoppage time. So that was later draw in at number 3. And I know many people probably thought that might be number 1. So if that's not number 1 or it's not number 2, then what is coming up in this video? It's going to be very, very interesting to check out number 2 and number 1. But before we do that, I just want to remind everyone we're getting very, very close now with the Euros just around the corner. I'm getting a huge amount of emails about this. And that is the opening of my premium course, Ultimate Football Trading. Lots have been asking, and yes, we will be accepting new members for the Euros. This is the first time we're opening to the public in around 4 or 5 months. It is invite only. The only way to get on the invite list is to click the link in the description of this video and submit your email address. Okay, like I said, there is a few giveaways. Just look for the invite list link for the football trading course. Click on that, submit your very best email address, and when you become a member, you get all of that, including the 8 core strategies, including my 2 favorite strategies that are going to be coming up as well. Okay, so if you do want to learn football trading, this is the course you need. Get on the waiting list by clicking the link in the description of this video, and you'll get everything you need to get going with football trading inside there. Link is in the description. So let's move on and let's check out number 2. Number 2 of my top 5 favorite football trading strategies. And for the match odds market, of course. Now, number 2 is back the favorite. Okay. It can just be as simple as looking for a favorite that is playing well, that is dominating, that is likely to score, backing them, and then just laying them. It really can be as simple as that. And a lot of people do maybe over confuse football trading. Now, you might be thinking, well, if I wanted to back a favorite, well, why not lay the draw? Well, here's the thing. If you lay the draw, you're essentially backing both teams. You're backing the home team and you're backing the away team. Now, with that, you kind of dilute the profits you will make. And what you will find statistically is that the favorite is going to score the goal most of the time. So if you can just read the match and look for that favorite who is really dominating, not looking likely that they're going to concede a goal, backing them, you can make significantly bigger returns compared to your risk than if you were laying the draw. Okay, so that is why, for me, backing the favorite is a much more preferable strategy. But let's dive in to some real life examples so you can see exactly what I mean. So it's just kicked off in the second half in this match. Now, we've looked at the stats and we can see that the home favourite is by far the better team, probably looking like they're going to be the team that will take the lead. So we could lay the draw with £100 risk, and if you have a look here, that will give us £83 of profit potential on the favourite and on the away underdog. But if we're confident enough that that favourite is going to be the one to take the lead, well, if we back them with a £100 stake here, as we're going to do, it actually raises our profit potential to £225. So it's a much nicer risk reward ratio, as you can see there. Okay, so now we've backed that favorite, the home favorite. We are now looking for them to take the lead, and that will cause their odds to drop, and then we can cash out for a profit. So let's see what happens next. So 82 minutes on the clock, and the favorite has now taken the lead. So just to make life simple, I'm going to cash out. Just press the cash out button and move on, and just quickly explain. I mean, we're going to lock in £184 of profit. Now, if you remember, if we were doing later draw on this same match, we had £88 of profit potential. So we're not even going to lock in the whole £88. But even then, even if we did, that is still a huge increase. Okay, £185, £180 locked in across all the outcomes. So you can definitely see the difference, and the main advantages of backing the favorite versus laying the draw. Okay, much bigger profit potential, much more favorable risk reward ratio. Okay, and that is the same risk. I want to stress that again. Okay, we were laying the draw, well, comparing it to a later draw risk of £100 or a back the favorite risk of £100. Okay, so if you can keep a close eye on that favourite, and it does look like the favourite is going to score, yep, my personal preference is to back the favourite ahead of laying the draw. So that is number 2, back the favourite. And now you've seen the clips, you've probably got a much better idea of why it is number 2 on my list of the top 5 match odds strategies and why it's ahead of laying the draw. For me, it is just a better risk reward ratio. However, I would say if you are a beginner, then feel free to start with lay the draw, and then after a while start to move it into getting involved with backing the favorite. You will get bigger returns, and statistically the favorite is more likely to score that first goal, the goal you are looking for. Okay, so anyway, that was backing the favorite. So what is going to be number 1? We're going to get into number 1 right now, but I do just want to say, as mentioned, we got a lot of giveaways in this video, and if you haven't got this, the Cash Out Secrets Handbook, you absolutely need it. If you're new to trading in any way and you don't know how to cash out without using the cash out button, you need this book. Okay, it's very, very important that you learn how to cash out manually. There's also a couple of more advanced cash out strategies, including the free bet strategy and of course including the skewing strategy as well. So the link to that is in the description. Like we said, we've got a lot of giveaways. We've also got the application for the invite list for Ultimate Football Trading, all in the description. So go and check that out if you are interested. Anyway, what is number 1? And number 1 is my favorite strategy, my favorite match odds football trading strategy. It is laying the winning team. Okay, so whichever team is leading in the match, looking to lay them and looking for them to concede an equalizer. And I have a few strategies for it: the relay mini, the relay reloaded, and the system X. So it involves opposing winning teams, whether they're winning by 1 goal or 2 goals or even more. Okay, the main reason I like it is just that risk reward ratio. Again, you're not risking much, but you can get some potentially very, very big wins, and at the same time you're being very contrarian with all of it. Okay, and if you want to succeed in any sort of investing, you kind of have to go against the grain. You kind of have to zig when everyone else is zagging. We all know that, right? So laying winning teams, when teams are winning, that is when most people are fearful and they don't really want to oppose those winning teams, and thus that's what often creates some good opportunities and some great value in the markets. And my biggest wins, the biggest profits I've ever made in football trading usually come from this. Okay, laying the winning team. So that is something to keep in mind as well. But anyway, let's just dive into some real life examples of that so you can see it exactly for yourself. So just following this match between Bristol City and Ipswich, Bristol City pretty strong favourite, I think around 1.60 starting price. And they're leading 1-0. So this is one of those situations where we're going to lay the winning team, and it's a strong home favourite who is the winning team. This is obviously not something the average novice football trader would want to do. But there is a fair bit of reason to get involved in this. If we bring up how this match has developed, you can see that overall, Ipswich have actually had a little bit more of the possession. And not only that, they've also had more attempts that have been on target. Now, Bristol have had more attempts overall, but Ipswich have had actually more attempts on target. And in the second half, it's also carried on in that vein. Ipswich dominating the second half so far. So you would think that something is not quite right, and maybe Bristol City are a little bit too short at the moment to be priced at 1.23, and there could be an Ipswich equaliser in the offing, which we could hopefully profit from. I just want to quickly, while we're there, look at Bristol City's recent home form as well, which isn't great. They've lost their last 3 home matches in a row. Now, I don't think it's too much better for Ipswich. They haven't really done much themselves. But again, something's not quite adding up, and it doesn't really look like Bristol City should be as low as 1.21 as they currently are. And there is around 27 minutes left to play in this one. So I got involved. I've laid them with a £200 stake. That gives me only £46 of risk in the market. So anyway, we'll see how this one develops. It's currently Bristol City 1, Ipswich 0, 63 minutes on the clock. Oh, well, we didn't have to wait long for that one. A pretty spectacular own goal just scored by Bristol City. I wish there was a little clip that I could show you on this video. But yeah, we've got the equaliser pretty quickly after we entered the market. So I mean, it was a well thought out trade in my view. I gave you plenty of reasoning for why I was opposing Bristol City in this particular scenario. Just didn't think that price looked right. They looked too short compared to how the match was actually developing. So it's just gone 1-1. Remember, we laid Bristol City 1.23 with a £200 stake. So it's £46 of risk in the market, and after the goal the price has risen up to 3, and we've managed to lock in £118 altogether. Just rough maths, I don't know, it's around a 300 or 400% return on your investment, but you can see the move there. So I mean, these are the golden opportunities to look out for when you do get a winning team that is a strong favourite who is just not performing like a strong favourite really should. These are the great opportunities to look for. So, yeah, a winning trade. We got there nice and early as well. So, there we have it. 69 minutes gone. Bristol City 1, Ipswich 1. And so this is a match from the Russian Premier League, and we're going to do this one without any live pictures at all. So, Ural, if you can pronounce that correctly, they are leading this match at half-time. It is 1-0 to them. They took the lead just not long before half-time. And yeah, they are the away team. Akhmat Grozny was a pre-match favourite in this one. I'm going to get into that in just a moment, but let's just have a look at the way the first half played out, and you can see that Ural, the leading team. I mean, it's the home team that have just about dominated the possession, but they've had a lot more goal attempts, and 7 attempts on target is a pretty big amount for just the first half. So just based on that, just based on how this match is developing, you would think that that's a bit of a false position that Ural are in right now, and you expect that in the second half it's going to correct. Akhmat are going to equalise, and then we can profit by opposing Ural and laying them. But also you can also look at just the recent form, just to maybe give you a little bit more confidence in it. So we can look at Akhmat in their recent home games, and we can see that, you know what, they've only lost 1 of their last 5 home games. So I mean, based on that, they don't lose at home too often, right? Not to say that it's not going to happen today, of course, but it doesn't happen too often. Ural, on the flip side, they don't win away from home too often. So they've had 1 win in their last 5. So just looking at these stats, it does give you quite a bit of confidence in opposing Ural here. So we could lay them here at 1.86. So they're odds on as well. So that means that we are putting ourselves in a position to win more than we are risking. And let me just double check. I just want to see what the price was on Akhmat. So they were around evens starting price in this one. So a fairly strong favourite, not overly strong. But anyway, I mean, there's a lot of indication that we should definitely be laying this winning team right here. So we'll get involved. And of course, I mean, I don't have to lay them here at 1.87. I could put in an order, say just a bit lower, 1.75, and just put that in the market. Because I know that when the second half begins, this price is going to start to go down with the time value. And so I don't have to necessarily take the 1.87. I could get matched, laying them at 1.75, maybe in the 50th minute or something like that. I could keep an eye on it. If it takes a while to get there, I can obviously change it. But again, why not? Just put the order in. You don't have to take the price that is available. More than likely, you're going to get matched at the order if you go just a few ticks down. So in this case, I'm going 10 ticks lower than the price that's on offer there. And we'll see. Hopefully, we should just get matched early on in the second half, and then hopefully we should get the equaliser from Akhmat. Let's see how this one plays out. So 56 minutes in, and the equaliser we wanted has just arrived, and it is now 1-1. The equaliser we were expecting came fairly early as well in the second half. So we can just press the cash out and then lock in a profit on this one. And then I'm just going to quickly give you some analysis on this as well. So we laid Ural at 1.75, and the goal arrived 56 minutes. So it kind of shows you, I mean, we must have just got in there 1.75. As you can see, there's the £100 stake. It went as low as 1.73. But it does highlight, I mean, honestly, whenever I do this, I always just put in an order a little bit lower than whatever the price is there. And I very rarely ever miss out on the goal, on the equalizer arriving just before I get matched. I mean, it does happen from time to time, but there's just so many football matches, it doesn't really bother me. And like I always say, the fear of missing out is something where a lot of novice football traders, they go wrong with. You know, they want to try and get in the market as quickly as possible. But anyway, we'll save that information for another video. But yeah, so we got in at 1.75, the equalizer arrived, and the price on Ural has risen to 6.2. So very straightforward stuff. Very straightforward stuff there. And remember, our risk was £75. That was our maximum risk on this trade, and we've managed to lock in pretty much around £73. So almost 100% return on our risk. So not bad at all. And you can kind of see, I mean, we weren't watching the match, but it was a pretty well thought out trade, as in I showed you how the first half played out. I showed you that Ural, they were leading, but they weren't really the better team. And also the fact that we know that Ural haven't won many games recently away from home. Also added confidence and an indicator that we should get in the market. Anyway, this one, 58 minutes played, 1-1, and we've got a successful trade on this one. So now you've seen that, you've probably got an idea of why I do like to lay the winning teams. You do have to keep in mind that your strike rate is not going to be as high as other strategies, which is why a lot of beginners do find it hard to kind of get their head around using any strategy which involves laying the winning team. But if you can get your head around it, it really is probably the best way to approach football trading. But we're not done yet. There's still more to come. But it was an interesting top five, right? So number 5, back the winning team. Number 4, lay in the underdog. Number 3, lay the draw, which many would have thought could be number 1. Number 2, back in the favorite. And then number 1, lay in the winning team. Now, how did this compare to the Sports Trading Life subscribers when they were asked on social media? And we got the answers to that right there. And the main favorite strategy for you guys, probably some of you watching this video would have voted in that as well. It is lay the draw at number 1. Interestingly, a lot of people do like laying the winning teams as well. I'm sure there's a lot of Ultimate Football Trading members who are voting for laying the winning teams on that one there. So that was interesting to see as well. It's always interesting to see how popular lay the draw is. It is a great strategy for beginners, but I do feel that after time and with time and experience, you probably want to start to step it up and then look to just zero in on backing those favorites, making a bigger return, or laying those winning teams. Okay, so very, very interesting stuff. So if you were interested, my main strategies for laying winning teams, they are included inside Ultimate Football Trading. That would be the Relay Mini and the Relay Reloaded, and also the System X bonus for those who managed to get hold of that. Okay, so remember, we're opening up to new members for the first time in 5 months, especially for the Euros. If you sign up during the window, then you do get lifetime access. So I do want to just stress, it doesn't mean you have to do the course during the Euros. You might want to wait until the new season. This is simply the window to get signed up for it. Okay, if you want to get the invite, it is invite only. Click the link in the description and submit your very, very best email address. Okay, lots and lots have been asking about this, and I'm sure with the Euros starting, it's going to be absolutely crazy when we do open the doors. Okay, but once you get the course within 28 days, and there is a 28-day plan inside the course to help you do this, you should learn how to trade a football match from start to finish, how to do that pre-match research to pick out your own trades, but then more importantly, what to look for in play and what to ignore. You get the 8 core strategies alongside a whole bunch of bonuses and mini strategies as well. Maybe we should update that, because you could say there's more than 8 strategies really in there. You also get the trade tracker spreadsheets, the huge bonus package as well. The spreadsheets absolutely crucial and important if you want to see how you're progressing with your football trading and see what mistakes and errors you are making and eliminate them and move forward. This is absolutely essential. Okay, and that's all going to be included alongside maybe some other surprise stuff as well that we'll throw in for the Euros. But anyway, if you want to get involved in that, first time we're opening to the public in 4 or 5 months now. If you want to get the invite, the link is in the description of the video. Just click below and get your very best email address submitted in there. Anyway, I'm not quite done yet, because in this video we did cover some of my favorite football trading strategies. One thing you might want to learn is how to use multiple football trading strategies in a single match. And I explained just how to do this in a video you should be able to see on the screen right about now with a whole ton of real life demonstrations, so you can see exactly how to do it yourself. This has been a really popular video and one I do not want you to miss out on. So go click on that video, go grab a nice cold beer, and I will see you in the next video.